Okay, guys, we'll get started because it's a couple of minutes past 4, and we're going to wrap this up as quick as we can. Thanks for getting here so far. Well done. A few people got to find your way through the rabbit warren at CSO, but well done. We've got a pretty exciting week next week lined up for you, and we thought it'd be really good to touch base with you this week and get things set up so that when we can use the most of our time next week together, which it's going to be a pretty hectic week, we think. So we're just getting some admin stuff out of the way, make introductions, give you some gear, tell you about the week. If you've got any questions about the week, because there's a few other schools here, then you can ask them and we can just get things up and running. So there's, firstly, I'm Nathan Carroll. I teach out at Mater Dei. These guys know me. I even know Max over there.
He's teaching us.
This is Devraj, and Devraj is basically putting the week on for us. I approached him many months ago now just as to help put something together in terms of a work placement program, and Dev feels pretty passionately about coding, about educating young guys. Dev was out at the uni when I was out there many moons ago. And he owns Anomaly software, which was previously ETK, and he's putting as I said, supplying everything that we have this week. Michael is at the back of the room. I'll introduce you to him. Michael's from the CSO. He's head of IT here. Cherie, down there, is the vet leader. No, what's the correct term? Also, learning officer. It's a learning officer position. Yeah. Okay. And David over here said he'll try and get to bits and pieces throughout the week too, so it'll be great to have him on board. And there'll be other people coming and going, so we'll introduce you as they come. Deb, did you want to say anything about your hopes for the week, maybe?
Hopes for the week? Well, the idea really is to introduce you to web programming. My real hope is that all of you have a project that you can build on, we'll start building on Monday. On Friday, you've got something going. Think of an idea that you can keep working on past the week. So don't think of an idea that just finishes with the week there. It's going to be very, very, very full on, and the idea is to introduce you to as many technologies on the web that we possibly can. And hopefully you can take that away and then keep working on it incrementally. If you've read anything on the website that Nathan put together, we're going to be using a lot of technology that Google puts out. Just take pleasure in the fact that you'll be controlling billions of dollars of infrastructure across the week, and be careful, don't break anything. My real hope is that you get introduced to a lot of technologies, and we can keep working on that.
Sounds good. I just thought that was a bit of an outline of what I just wanted to show to everyone today. Some of you guys might have a bit of everyone's from different facets. We've got Nath over here is real keen Year 9 student. Some of you guys are 10s, 11s, and is there 12s, Dave?
Well, 11's
going into 12s, yeah, of course, because they'd be finished.
They think of themselves as 12s, but they're really still
yeah, right.
For another week.
So, and these guys do software design. We have got that course up and running for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years for next year. So some of these guys are going to be going into that. And hopefully what we're going to aim to do is pair people up so that we can share that skill around the room. There is going to be a sort of a competition format going on throughout the week, just in a nice spirit, so that we can have a bit of fun, really, no more than just have a bit of fun and show off to each other and rub it into each other when we managed to do something cool and they didn't. But really, we're going to do it with a collaborative spirit, so if one group does manage to do something and another group thinks that maybe that's a good idea and they'd like some help, we'd really be keen for you to help each other with that sort of thing. And there would be awards, of course, for collaboration and for sharing what we're doing. Part of some of the stuff that we've got is we're going to have a big prize for who's actually done the best project at the end of the week on Friday. We've got lots of little prizes throughout the week, so if you manage to do something, do something really cool on the Tuesday and we get together at the end of the day and you say, look what I did, and it's great, prize for you. Plus there's going to be some good food and hopefully some good company as well. What programming is all about, look, I'll just do this really quickly, but some of you have got this conception in your head, and I know this is where everyone starts, that programming, you work hard at it for a short period of time, you end up with some amazing thing that you know, you can then go on and make millions of dollars from. No, not really. The guys who have done any sort of programming at all would have known that that is not how it works. And the one thing that you're going to need this next week is stickability, meaning that it's not going to work first time, and then it's probably not going to work the second, third, and fourth time, and then not to, you know, get upset with that, and not to then get the sooks, basically, which is what, you know, most people do, because that's the way that the world works these days, where, you know, if you can't get it first time, then it's just, you know, it's fast foods, you know. So not with programming. You know, Dev's going to teach us and show us some, you know, methods that we're going to use. We're going to have to be on our game, listen, and then at the end of each, we're going to do, in the mornings, we're going to do this thing. You would have seen a keynote. For those of you who have never heard of what a keynote is, that's basically where someone brings something to the table that's hopefully new, interesting, that you can sit there and maybe even take notes and learn from for between an hour and two. And then you take that and you go into the next session and you do something with that. And so then at the end of each day, you'll see there's a Q&A session set up, so that at the end of the day, when, you know, you've sat there after a few hours in your groups and you say that we'll come together something like this, and probably less formally than this, and you can say, look, today, you know, I really didn't understand that bit you said about, you know, request handlers. And so then we go, okay, well, who else felt the same thing? And everyone puts their hand up and we can talk about that, or something like that. So that's what those Q&A sessions are. We've just rejigged it a bit so that there's one on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we've designed this so it's a bit of a buffer zone. For some people are going to have something awesome, maybe even at the end of Tuesday or Wednesday. And then they're just going to be sort of, have a seat, Mick. They're just going to be, you know, possibly extending what they've already got, rather than, whereas other people are going to, might be floundering a bit, and there's going to be a bit of time for maybe the guys who are ahead to help those guys, for us to help those guys. So this will be pretty, if you've, you know, done what you need to do, come here and come here, then that's going to be a pretty easy, enjoyable time where you can help. If you're one of the ones who are pulling their hair out going nothing's working, then that time can be given to you to really help what's going on there. So yeah, stickability, key word. And that's, you know, in terms of one of the main skills about programming. Dev, what can you add to that?
The entire thing is about trying to solve problems. Think about any problem that you can model. So think about something as simple as accounting, or modeling, you know, biology. So if how cells work, or you know, how far stars are. If you think of a complex problem like that, you can take any problem, model it into a computer program, use computing to actually accelerate, you know, finding the answer to something of that order. You could literally use computing to advance computing, so you can actually use a computer to design the next computer. So think of what that can do. That is what a computer is. The computer is, as Steve Jobs used to say, the bicycle of the mind. So you can go as fast as you like, right? And you can use a computer to actually accelerate that. Now, the core of anything is that you're trying to solve a problem, and it's a difficult thing to do, right? If it was easy, it would have been done. So, as a computer programmer, you're trying to solve difficult things. Now, you have to keep at it. You know, back to Nathan's point, you have to keep at it, right? If you choose to be a computer programmer as a professional, it's difficult. It's just a difficult thing to do. Making these things is difficult, but when you get there, it's extremely rewarding. So, yeah, keep at it. I think the one thing I was going to talk about is how many of you actually know how the web actually works? No? Sort of? Yeah? Sorry.
I've got a question. When you're using, when you're saying Python, and I'm seeing HTTP requests.
Yes.
Is this kind of like using the Tornado web engine?
Well, they're part of the same family. Google has their own.
So does that mean that you can use Python, but you can also kind of chuck it into HTML, PHP, JavaScript,
Right?
and
So
those sort of things?
yeah. So essentially the web's in two parts. Obviously, there's a server somewhere back. HTTP is the protocol that the browser and the server use to talk to each other. Yeah. HTML, JavaScript, CSS, they work on the browser, so it's what the client sees.
Okay, so you can use jQuery?
You can. I'd prefer you not to, but
Cheating.
and the server code will be written in Python. And the whole idea of using Google's infrastructure is it actually makes it really simple to store data, retrieve data. Python is a very, very, very nice language.
Instead of using PHP?
Never use PHP.
I keep telling you that. He keeps wanting to use PHP and I keep saying, no, do HTML.
Never do that.
Thank you. Sorry, mate.
It's quite fine. Yeah, good habits, yeah. But we'll be using Python on the server. App Engine makes the database sort of disappear, if you will. So, and that's the whole idea, using App Engine.
So it's a lot more secure.
Well, think of it this way. The bit of code you're going to write is running on the same infrastructure that runs Google. So it's not
dangerous.
Well, not really. It sounds very secure, actually. If you can break Google, you know, just
Prize for that.
So it's actually important to know. Does anybody know the history of the web? Who made it? Do you know?
Was it American Defense?
No, wrong.
You're teaching me wrong things.
Oh, hang on,
No,
let's go back a bit more.
The internet was. The internet is not the web. There's a difference. The internet's the infrastructure, the web's the service running on top. So, for example, email can work without the web, if you will. So, the web was invented by a British computer scientist called Tim Berners-Lee. He worked at CERN. You heard of CERN? It's a particle physics lab. Now the problem was that the scientists would perform physics experiments at CERN, leave, and then you'd have to actually, during those days it would take about 2 months to compute the result of that experiment and send it back to them. So he proposed this idea. He said, look, forget about posting all this stuff. Let's make the web. There'll be a browser, there'll be a server, you can log on and get your results. For 3 years, his proposal to build the web was rejected by CERN. He was threatened to be fired from CERN for building the web. At a certain point, this man called Steve Jobs said, look, I don't understand what you're trying to build, but you can have a few computers try to build this thing. 1989, the first website, www.cern.ch, went online. The rest is history. Basically, it is the second biggest change since the Industrial Revolution, if that makes of the magnitude of its effect. Anyway, since then, obviously, companies like Google, Apple, they've done a lot of work. The modern web really is a platform. I have a term. My term is software alchemy. So forever, engineers have tried to build a platform where you can write software once and you can deliver it to any computer in the world, anytime. The web is it, right? It's the platform that's going to stay. It's the platform of your generation. It's going to be here for the foreseeable future. So we need to understand how to write better software for the web, not in PHP. That's all I'm going to say.
Good one. So network architecture.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, that's good. We were planning on assigning partners for the week here, but what we might do how are we off? I've got some pencils with me. We'll just do things. I wanted to
Take a look.
pass them or take one, pass it along. Grab one of them and pass it along.